Hello, and welcome. I'm going to talk to you for the next little while about some success tips when working with kids with ADHD. I want to start by explaining ADHD as Dr. Hollowell, a leading modern expert on ADHD, most aptly describes to his young patients by explaining it's like they have an extremely fast race car for a brain, but the brakes of a go-kart. My first experience working within education was with a 6-year-old with ADHD. Chris, we will call him, was nothing like the other kids I had worked with before as a babysitter or au pair. Within his first 3 months of kindergarten, he was already getting suspended. We tried everything to get him to behave like the other kindergartners and stop getting in trouble. After months of trying to punish Chris into being the kid we wanted him to be, we instead started seeking to support him in who he was. The following presentation is based on what I had learned working with him, as well as my findings from research. A lot of times we talk about being on the road to success. As educators, sometimes we have to help our students find this road and develop the tools to stay on this road. For some students, this is relatively easy. For other students, this is really challenging, and we come to a road that looks like this. For students like Chris, it's all too common to reach a dead end like this. The internal chaos of ADHD makes it extremely challenging to achieve academic success. So when we come to this end of the road, stopped by the river, what should we do? Say, sorry kid, tough break. Sad to say, this is what happens to a lot of students with ADHD. While there are many reasons why we are seeing an increase with children diagnosed with ADHD, it is apparent that it's extremely important that we sharpen our tools working with children who identify with ADHD. And how are we going to see that they continue their road to success? Let's look at this bridge for inspiration. A good bridge is going to have these three things. It's going to have lots of support to keep the towers high in the air, flexibility to keep it from snapping in times of high stress, and of course, a sound structure to carry the weight of the road. Planning for the support that you need is essential. Working with kids with ADHD can be extremely tiring. Make sure that you have a solid plan in place. Partner with leadership at your school to come up with creative ways to give both you and the student a break. Some plans may include having the student visit another classroom for a portion of the day, or arranging to have the student work with an older student, or, if possible, even having the student deliver an empty envelope to the office. Sometimes these little breaks can be something good for the teacher and the student. The best way to support yourself is to know what resources you have to avoid situations that tend to trigger bad behavior. Trying to just push through difficult situations may only make matters worse. Sometimes, with a little extra attention, you may be able to start seeing patterns and prevent situations from becoming a problem. People with ADHD tend to be very curious about the people and world around them. While children often push to find their boundaries, kids with ADHD are likely to continue doing this. It's important that you remain calm and consistent if you have to respond to negative behavior. Kids with ADHD often look for excitement. They are more likely to quit the behavior if it yields no excitement. Another aspect of providing structure is to help the student compensate for the lack of internal organization. It's important for people with ADHD to develop external tools that provide structure. One way to provide that structure is to provide a very clear, specific schedule that is always visible. There should also be consistent reminders of that schedule and lots of attention to transitions between activities. The best case scenario for us is to help the students with ADHD develop their own external tools, habits, and routines that empower them to be successful. Flexibility when working with kids with ADHD is extremely important because they're often looking for something new. Most teachers that I've worked with that were successful with kids with ADHD were very flexible with the way tasks were accomplished. If you are willing to work with these students' active imaginations, you're going to be a leg up. With these kids, it's important to find the balance between providing structure and flexibility. The best way is to plan ahead how you can be flexible. One way to do this is by asking the student what helps them stay on task. Then, you might be able to grant some sort of compromise. If the student is asking for something unreasonable, look for something that you could do. For example, maybe the student wants to play in the street by himself. Instead of saying no, simply say, "Alone time can be fun. If you can stay quiet in the hallway, I'll let you sit there to complete your assignment." So just remember when you go to work with these kids, be like the bridge. We want to have support for ourselves, flexibility, while also maintaining structure in the classroom. Once we get our bridge up and running, it's important to remember that this is a constant process. While some weeks may go by and you see amazing results and great behavior, also remember that we'll constantly want to be improving how we're working with the students. At any given point, they may crumble down, and that's okay. Maintain a positive attitude and always be looking for solutions. And remember, use passion and emotion to connect with your kids. Kids with ADHD love excitement. Use that in your teaching. As they grow to be more in balance with their emotions and the way that they respond to their environment, make sure to look for ways to help them connect to the world around them. They love to be engaged and engaged with the peers around them. So help them do that. And last, but not least, remember to have fun. Kids with ADHD can be very high energy, and just like anyone else, they're looking to have fun. Hopefully this short presentation has given you some ideas to work with, or, if anything, given you some hope. There are a lot of resources out there to learn more, and I hope you check them out. Working with kids with ADHD can be very challenging, but they have a lot of potential, and helping them excel can be very rewarding.